By the time the mid-1960s rolled around, the NHL was about to enter expansion, so the 1966 draft seemed to be the team's original six had more on the ball than ever before. Now, it was held at the Mont Royal Hotel in Montreal, kind of a medium-sized facility compared to the other locations was held. Now, the fourth NHL amateur draft took place on the earliest date in NHL draft history and marked the second time that each of the participating teams used all their available picks. Now, it was April 25th, 1966. It was also the only time that the draft was ever held at the Mont Royal. At the time of the 66 draft, the Stanley Cup Finals between the Red Wings and Habs had just begun the previous night in Montreal, so much of the hockey community was already in town. The draft was held on the off day between games 1 and 2 of the finals. Detroit would make some history of its own at the draft when it became the first team to trade one of its picks. The Red Wings deferred their pick in the first round to Boston in order to complete a February 16th, 66 trade with the Bruins. Now, eligible for draft were players not on sponsorship lists prior to April 1st, 66, who were born before June 1st, 1949. Order set by the league based on was previous years with the team that picked first in 65, dropping to number 6 and all others moving up one draft position. Now, Boston was able to draft first because the Bruins had deferred their pick from the previous year. New York, which had been scheduled to draft first in the normal rotation, dropped to number 2. Chicago, scheduled to draft second, went to number 3. Toronto drafted number 4 after having deferred that position from the previous year. Montreal drafted number 5 after having deferred that position, leaving Detroit at number 6. Montreal had the option to take the first 2 French-Canadian players before the start of the draft, but the Canadians chose not to exercise that option and went ahead and used regular first and second round picks. Now, rotation was Boston, New York, Chicago, Toronto, Montreal, and Detroit. Total rounds were 4. Cost of the draft, amateur teams were paid $3,000 per drafted player, and the team could only offer a player contract on his 19th birthday. Now, the number 1 pick was Barry Gibbs, a longtime veteran skater in the NHL by Boston. 14 players selected made the NHL, 58.3%. 3 players won the Stanley Cup, 2 names engraved. Most NHL games, Brad Park, number 2 overall, 1,113 games. Most playoff contests, Brad Park, 161 games. Highest pick to miss, number 9, Ron Dussiaume. Lowest pick to reach the NHL, number 20, Jack Eagers. And player draft included 14 forwards, 8 defense, and 2 goalies. Now, the idea of the amateur draft in 66, there was some question if Boston was going to take Gibbs in that first round, and that's exactly what happened. Now, if a lot of people don't remember, Barry Gibbs had a very solid series of campaigns with the Stars after, like Boston. But just to recap here, first round, Barry Gibbs, Boston. Brad Peck, New York. Terry Caffrey, Chicago, number 3. Number 4, John Wright, Toronto. Philip Meir, a longtime goalie, number 5, Montreal. Steve Atkinson, Boston, number 6. Second round, number 7, Rick Smith. New York took Joey Johnson. Chicago took Ron Dussiaume. Toronto, number 10, Cam Crosby. Number 11, Mo St. Jacques by Montreal. Number 12, Detroit was Jim Whittaker. 13 was Garnet Bailey by Boston. New York, Don Luce. Chicago, Larry Gimmons. Toronto, Ricky Lee. 17, Montreal, Gilles Doran. Then Detroit, Lee Carpenter. Boston, number 19, Tom Webster. Then 20, New York, Jack Eagers. Number 21, Chicago, Brian Morenz. Toronto, Dale McClish, number 22. Bob Pate, number 23, not to be confused with the baseball player. Bob Pate, and Detroit, the last, Grant Cole. So a very interesting selectees. Most of the players were taken from Toronto of the OHA, and the squads that were represented were Estefan, Toronto, West Clare, Shawinigan, Niagara Falls, Peterborough, Oshawa, London, Edmonton, Kitchener, Markham, Verdun, and St. Mike's for Detroit. So again, a much better draft, and I think the idea of the first rounder was in better quality, but Toronto of the OHA again was the majority of the play. But getting back to Ron Dussiaume about what he called the player that Mish. He played 65-66 with Oshawa junior B team with 22 points in 34 games. He also played in the 66 Memorial Cup tournament with runner-up Oshawa Generals, who was a teammate of Bob Orr. Now born in Sudbury, Ontario, full name Joseph Ronald Sear Dussiaume. He eventually attended Laurentian University. After sports, he founded Mitron Sports Enterprises, which provided high-performance hockey training systems and publishing manuals to assistant coach on all levels. Now, in 2004, working with Mike Foligno, Dussiaume went on to found Elite Hockey Education Development Corporation. He was a master course conductor in Canada's National Hockey Coaching Certification Program, and eventually achieved advanced level 5 status as a coach, making him one of only 17 such coaches in Canada at the time he was passing, much too young, on February 10th, 2007. Now, he was named Laurentian's Male Athlete of the Year in '69 across all sport as an awards inaugural winner. He was part of the 71-72 Dallas team that won the CHL regular season title. He won the CHL Adams Cup in Dallas in '72. He was also selected by the Cougars in the WHA General Player Draft in '72. He played on the Rochester team in '74 that won the regular season title. He also was claimed by LA's affiliate Springfield for Chicago in the June '72 reserve draft, and was eventually claimed by Rochester from LA in the June '74 reverse draft. He was inducted also possibly in the House of Ken Sudbury Sports Hall of Fame in 2008. So a great overall athlete. To not make the NHL was kind of a disappointment, but the 5'10", 109-pound, 95-pound left winger was a tremendous talent and a very cerebral guy. Probably one of the best coaches that nobody talks about in Canadian hockey history. And I was talking about the '66 draft. Like him, there was a lot of talent that year. So in the same draft that Brad Park and Philip Muir and Jules Drouin were taken, Ron stands out as, again, one of that beautiful, talented 24 players that were taken in the 4 rounds. And again, some great quality guys. So that's a legend of the '66 NHL Amateur Draft and Ron Dussiaume. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe. And again, pronunciations are my own. Maybe you could, people spell it this a different way than me, but Dussiaume is the francophone pronunciation. If you call it Dussiaume or whatever, I apologize. But you know, Martin, all different. We say Richard Martin in Canada, and it's Rich Martin in the States. So that's the way it goes. Again, that's the story of the '66 draft and Ron Dussiaume. Thanks for listening. Bye.